welcome to the Invasion of the Remake. I'm your host, Jason Bishop, and today we are proving that it wasn't a recent phenomenon when Charlie Sheen went insane. Today will be what we think is the beginning point of what the fuck, Charlie Sheen.
I don't know if it's what the fuck. You have to place some of the blame on the movie, but
that's true, because he would have actually had to be in it, which is maybe where the what the fuck comes up. Today we're talking about The Wraith from 1986, written and directed by Mike Marvin, famous for snacking movies called Hot Dog the Movie, Hamburger the Movie, and then I guess French Fries the sequel wasn't going to come out, so he wrote a skin flick called Madame Savant.
Nice.
Because as you do, right?
If you're hungry, you're horny.
Wait, sometimes you're confused. Am I hungry? Am I horny? What's happening?
Someone help me somehow.
And in case that non-Sam-like voice confused you, please welcome back to the show in Sam's seat today.
Yes,
Brittany Lyseng,
returning champion.
What's up?
Brittany Lyseng.
Just shaking.
Nice.
And of course Trish Coughlin over in the co-pilot seat.
Yep, I'm the one to blame for this one.
Yeah.
But I believe there's a nugget of something in here.
It's like a half-eaten chicken nugget. I'm not even. It's
It's
like
a full nugget.
It's more like a popcorn chicken, but the one that is right at the bottom and it's over deep fried. And
Oh, come on. You can't say there isn't... this movie isn't completely irredeemable. It's full of some of the best trashy stuff from the 80s, you have to admit.
That's true. And we opened with a piece of the soundtrack, and we'll close with one as well. And it had a great, very 80s soundtrack. It is
amazing.
So 80s. It doesn't exist anywhere but the 80s. It's everything about the 80s is in that music.
Everything about this movie is so 80s.
And this movie.
I had this playing in my kitchen while I made breakfast this morning. Yeah. And it is so 80s that my roommate came from downstairs and went, "Why are you watching 80s movies so loudly?" It was recognizable from a floor above with the door closed.
Yes, just the audio itself.
And then he said, "What is it?" And I didn't tell him. He goes, "Oh, it's probably like a Charlie Sheen thing or something."
Didn't even know.
Didn't even know. No.
That's amazing. It is. I actually kind of wish I would have watched it yesterday, because it is kind of a Saturday morning kind of thing, except for the boobs, but and the death,
the brief flash of boobs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, and the having sex part, but everybody's still got their underwear on.
Yeah, but it's kind of flesh colored underwear.
No, it's a visible jockstrap.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to remake about this movie is like, you know what? Simple fix: sheet over the ass. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like
That's not how you guys do it.
Well, no, that's how we do it. But if I was in a movie trying to fake a sex scene,
Yeah, I'm like, can you just keep your pants on? Because I don't like it if it's.
We went straight to the remake portion of the show.
I know. Well, it's like the other part of this movie too is like the bad guy. He's always in pants. Like, if you think about 100% of the time, he is never not without pants. Even when he's getting busy with, like, some chick still in his pants.
fully clothed.
No, he's got jeans on.
Yeah.
He's always got jeans and pants on. Goes to, like, this little
She was just down to her G-string.
creek.
That was it.
Yeah, goes down to a creek, still in pants. The man is never out of pants.
Yeah.
He literally has to die to not be in pants.
His gang half the time aren't wearing shirts, but yeah, it looks like he's always cold.
Yeah, 100% in pants.
There you have it. The moral of the story.
Yeah, if you never take off your pants, you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, that's right. So The Wraith came out in 1986, the same year as Platoon.
Yeah, but filmed right before it.
Yeah. And it kind of shows, because I think Charlie Sheen was already heavy into some kind of production with Platoon, because even though he's the star of this movie, he's not really in it. He's in the beginning sequence, the end sequence, and I think there's one little middle one. Just they're kind of like cameo appearances to remind you that yes, Charlie Sheen is supposed to be this dude, but he's barely present in this movie, despite getting top billing. Nick Cassavetes is the villain. Packard Walsh, Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah.
Before she went all dark haired and weird.
Did she go real weird?
Yeah, all those. Yeah.
Do you think this whole movie just wrecked everybody? Like, look at the cast.
I don't know much about the future of Nick Cassavetes after this, so...
Well, to be fair, he did actually do well. He's gone
He
directing.
did do well.
He's doing directing, and he's doing good.
He's very well known as a director, so that's how I knew him, and I was a little like, oh, he's an actor. And, of course, Randy Quaid, because you can't have an 80s movie without Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
And boy, does he overact in this sucker.
Who also went crazy.
Well, I thought he always was. I just
Yeah, but
assumed.
Randy Quaid, like, this is like Charlie Sheen. We know we could see that progression. Randy Quaid, we've seen that progression.
Okay, true. Yeah. There's a few guys I don't know what their futures held past this movie, if there
I'm
was
just assuming.
one. Matthew Berry, David Sherrill, Jamie Boysian,
Yeah.
Griffin O'Neill. They're all playing thugs in this movie. And the lovable but weird Clint Howard.
Is that rainbow hair dude?
Yeah. No,
Clint
Clint Howard's
he's
the big
a rughead.
puffy with the thick
With
glasses.
the bottle cap glasses, the techie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Named Rughead.
Rughead.
Good one. I liked rainbow hair dude.
Yeah, Skank.
Skank. I didn't understand why he looked like that ever.
You know what?
Because he's like, looks like a nerd to me. I was like, you look like a nerd to me, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Well, I think it was a take on the 80s punk type of deal. He was a punk, but in the middle of nowhere.
And this is also post Mad Max, right? So we got there's all sorts of little nods to other movies in here, and he was clearly meant to be inspired by the Wastelander type guys.
Yeah.
And his buddy Gutter Boy too, to a certain extent.
Gutter Boy and Skank.
Yeah.
Gutter Boy and Skank,
Who belong in a Mad Max movie.
yeah,
They
I
really
mean,
do.
they all have his gang guys all have these fun, crazy nicknames, and then he's Packard Walsh. I felt like
he doesn't need a name.
He's got a name of a banker.
Packard Walsh.
I feel like I'm
No,
supposed to get a mortgage from him.
No, see, he sounds more like an insurance company. Packard Walsh, we'll fuck you over.
It's on the business card.
Packard Walsh, pay us. We will never pay you.
It sounds like a lawyer's firm if it had one more name, like Packard Walsh and
Skank.
Martin. Yeah, Packard Walsh and Skank. Maybe a Martin at the end of it.
Martin.
Yeah,
Packard Walsh and Martin. No, Loomis. Packard Walsh and Loomis.
Of course, it opens on that great 80s soundtrack, but we got all these lights that kind of coalesce into an 80s car ad.
Yeah.
Because we get this, it coalesces into the Dodge Interceptor, which is a beautiful car. And they make note of how beautiful the car is by doing a very 80s or a very car ad kind of thing to do, as the camera pans up and down the car, and it's all glistening in the
little
the
shock
moonlight.
marks, like
Yeah.
electrical thing.
Now, when it opens, you get the light traveling through the desert, but the entire scene, it's not the animated light, but the whole desert looked animated, and then
it is animated.
And then it kind of coalesced into actual animated light in a desert, a real desert. But that first opening bit, I'm like, what is going on? Why does this look so cartoon?
Well, I think that was just because it was a limitation of special effects. It's like, well, we can do it, but we have to do it animated because that's the cheapest way to get this done.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, the light itself, yeah, sure, but why would you have to do that with cactuses and a static desert? I didn't understand that. I guess they probably just needed more shots and didn't have them.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything really truly that wrong with that.
Now, interesting fact, the Dodge Interceptor in this movie is worth about $1.5 million in 1986.
Wow.
It is a miracle of vehicle building at the time, construction. It was a Dodge M4S, and it was jointly produced by Dodge and PPG Race Cars, and it was a pace car. Mm-hmm. And that was used for this film. So it wasn't actually made for the film. It was borrowed. Mm-hmm. And 2.2 liter 4-cylinder, one-of-a-kind engine, tops 194 miles per hour, which is
until you get
impressive.
to speed, you're saying things, but they mean nothing to me.
Honestly, they mean nothing to me either, but we got car people.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm doing this for the car people.
Okay.
And, so there were 7 cars. Obviously, they had the main one that was borrowed for the shoot, and it was mainly there for the close-ups.
Yeah.
2 stunt cars that were essentially dune buggy chassis with the car shell on top, and then 4 more shells as we see them get plowed through and destroyed during the movie.
Yeah, just dummies to explode.
Yeah, dummies to explode. And it's through the driving sequences, I can actually tell, if you look underneath a little bit, you can see crossbars that wouldn't make sense. You can tell it's just a shell on top of a dune buggy.
It's like a kit car.
Yeah.
But what I like too is, and it's just like in any scenario, movie scenario, it's so unrealistic, like the crashes. Like that when when the car barrels through, there's like full wheel and axle come off, like pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that would happen. You wouldn't just dent the frame; the entire wheel axle would come off.
It's a super explosion.
Oh well, there's lots of things that don't make sense, and that is least among them.
Oh, maybe that's just the thing. That's the thing that bothered me most. Also, I loved the LEDs on the back of the car. Like, ooh, something's about to happen. LEDs are lit. like that's the big thing. Like, oh, now he's gonna do something spacey.
Yes. Well, you just need that little note just to be sure something's gonna happen.
Oh God, lightning bolts.
Well, general gist of this movie is Jake. Or was it Jake? Yeah, Jake Kesey is returned from the dead. He was actually formerly known as Jamie Hankins, returned from the dead, but he couldn't quite come back as himself. Because I don't know. Apparently, you can't quite look like the way you used to if you're coming back from the dead. I don't know.
I wonder
it's
if
a resurrection role.
I wonder,
but you get a car.
I wonder if it was true.
You get a cool car.
You get a cool car, but I'm wondering if part of that wasn't because they figured like for the story it makes more sense if she doesn't recognize who he is, and B, maybe they only had Charlie Sheen for a little bit. They had to film the flashbacks with another guy.
I do feel like that's for sure.
But to make it so she doesn't recognize him, that kind of does make sense.
That makes more sense than him. Coming back
and his brother's there too. That's Billy, right?
And Packard shouldn't know who he is either.
No. Packard is the only one that seems to find him familiar, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, Carrie does, for sure.
Yeah, well, there's a familiarity for everybody, but nobody quite places it. Packard's was the one that first flashed back to the dude they killed. Takes a while for them to get the reveal. It's not like... Although, for us, it feels like it's hammered over our heads that, this dude's returned from the dead, but take their time telling us how he died in the first place.
Yeah, but I mean, they call the movie The Wraith. I don't think it's hammering over anybody's head. We know this is somebody back from the dead at the get-go. It
is a ghost, but not a ghost that has a really cool car, and nothing's really explained of how and why, but we'll get to more of those theories as we move along in here. I'm going to play a trailer, and we'll see if it's as batshit crazy as I think the rest of the movie is.
An evil force took his life. An unearthly power has brought him back. He is a phantom, a wraith, a cosmic spirit given another chance.
Are you new in town?
Yeah. Who's the kid?
I turned my back, and the next second he was there. Like magic, almost.
You ever seen one of those before? Let's just add it to our collection.
There's a kid out there using his car to kill people. Not that it's such a big deal, since it seems to be your gang he's got it in for.
Hold on! Grab the shotgun, Mama Luca.
And it ain't cool. What are you doing? Packard, stop!
Get in the car.
What are you doing, man? You
Get out of my face, burger boy. You wind up dead like your brother.
Hey, who is that guy?
I don't know. But whoever he was, he's weird and ticked off.
Okay, yeah, so 80s car revenge flick on the people who killed him.
To free the people that he loves.
Yeah. And as we know, with movies like Drive Angry, you do get a really cool car when you leave hell or wherever the hell you landed.
Yeah. If you can't have a car in this life, your next life, you're going to have an awesome set of wheels.
That's the... You were saying before, like, things were over your head a little. Everything, that's the funny thing about 80s movies, is everything is answered right away. And a shit movie.
Yeah.
That's like a quality of a shit movie. It's just like, what's happening? Here it is. No.
Yep.
Like, it seems like it's answered right away. Did he sleep with his girlfriend? Yep. Here's them sleeping together.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's them. Like, it seemed funny to me.
I found with 80s movies, there's the two extremes. There's the one where they spend too much fucking time not telling you, or they just like they just shoot you with it right away. It's like there's no
build up to anything.
No. They either overbuild or underbuild. It's like we have lots of cocaine or no cocaine.
There's no middle ground.
That's what I feel the 80s is all about. Do we have enough cocaine? Damn it.
Someone get us cocaine.
Well, that's where I think Charlie Sheen was most of this time. He was at the cocaine truck.
Is that part of craft services?
It's next to the watermelon.
Not officially.
Okay.
It's under the shrimp tray.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep it under that ice ring, because that hot cocaine, that's not useful.
No.
You got to chill that cocaine.
That's in Sheen's rider. Prefers cocaine chilled.
So consequently, I think the real star of this movie is Nick Cassavetes.
Oh, yeah.
And he plays the heavy leader of this street pirate gang.
Yeah.
I call them street pirates because that's what they call them in the movie.
Yes.
And we have this opening scene where if they see a car they like, they basically cut it off, pull the people out of the car, threaten them a bit, and then challenge them to a race. I don't know why they just don't take the fucking car, because that's what you would do in the 2000s, is just carjack the motherfucker.
Because they like the rush.
Yeah. Well, and that's where the Fast and the Furious angle comes in.
Yes.
They give them a chance to race them to keep their car.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it honestly.
Of course not.
Despite the fact they actually say the line, "All right, we won the car, nice and legal."
Yeah.
Since when is street racing legal? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
It's not legal, but as we were
the
talking,
dude's girlfriend.
but as we were talking about this before, it's legal from the standpoint that paperwork is involved. Like it's a he said she said scenario, which like legally, yeah, these guys can easily win that court case because they've got all their own little witnesses lying on the stand. This guy has no chance. So legal, yeah.
Yeah.
In a technical sense.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, basically has to throw a buck on the car and sign
it over, and yeah, it is nice and legal.
Yeah.
Even if there's some coercion, it's still nice and legal, like it or not.
I like that nobody goes to the cops about anything, or nothing is ever challenged. Like, everyone's just like, okay,
Yeah.
Pac.
When
I
we
think it should have been
finally-
more threatening.
Yeah, well, when we finally meet Sheriff Loomis, I can see why nobody went to him.
Yeah.
I think he's in another plane of reality. He thinks he's Dirty Harry, but nobody wants to give him the reason to be Dirty Harry.
No.
He's constantly spouting lines like he's Clint Eastwood.
True. But you see, the only one thing that really, not the one thing, but one of a few things that bother me about this movie, I still really like this movie, is their sheriff's department. If you look at the population of this town, it's a little over 6,400. But they have like 20 cops.
It's just like Chief Wiggum and his...
Yeah, it should be less cops. You shouldn't have that many cops in a town of that size.
There was too many cops, you said, or
Way too many cops. They have like 20 cops. Like from a town of like 6,000, you shouldn't have maybe more than 5.
Well, yeah,
that's true.
don't know. I don't know if just giving people work.
I guess. I don't know, realistically.
One guy to get the donuts, one guy to do the paperwork, one guy to lock and unlock people in jail.
Yeah, I'm from a small town. There's like 2 cops for us, the town over there, the town over next over. That's about roughly like 8,000 people, and it was 2 guys.
It's just like everyone that flunks out of high school becomes a cop, so it just the percentage keeps going up.
Yeah, they can't bear to turn them down.
Well, yeah, what it really looks like the only real issues that they have in this town is this group of 5-6 kids.
Yes.
They're just horrible. They're probably 95% of the crime in this town.
Yes. But yeah, well, 95% of the crime they know of, but they can't prove it.
Yeah. And really, it's just him being a bully and stealing people's cars, and we don't know what he does with them afterwards. They do have a garage, so I guess
they chop him up.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a chop shop thing.
Because he does specifically
and
say
a couple of them,
Skank.
Yeah, and actually Skank and Gutter Boy actually have honest work in a airplane graveyard.
Yeah, they're just stamping things.
Yeah.
I think
Remember that scene?
Yeah, I think that was just Gutter Boy because they're like, we can't let Gutter Boy do anything else because he's special. As we're discussing off mic, I'm like, a very insensitive portrayal of mental illness.
Everything distresses poor Gutter Boy. Like, he's just constantly in turmoil in his mind. Like, everything worries him.
I think he's quote unquote special. Like, he's not.
He's definitely special ed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes because there's no real, like, you don't know why they have to stamp the dead helicopters. Nope. You don't know what. And Randy Quaid walks up like, hey, what are y'all boys doing down here? And he's like, stamping helicopters.
How would you know that they're not flyable? Was it the fact that they're in something that looks like an aircraft graveyard?
Yeah.
No, you got to stamp them. That's how official it is. That now you know it's not flyable. Has no wings, has no rotors, but no, you cannot be flown.
So that's information for everybody outside. If you come across a crashed helicopter that remains unstamped, get it and give it a go.
Yeah, that's right. You never know, right?
Hey, she's got legs. Fire it up.
If you don't blow up, you're fine.
Yeah. If you don't blow up, you're fine should be like just a rule for life.
Now, the real tragedy about this movie is not that it exists, but the fact that somebody died making it.
True.
And another person was very critically injured at the time. They had overloaded a camera, and the camera car had flipped over and killed one of them instantly. So, yeah. To see what we got and then it cost a human life, I'm not so sure that was worth what I just...
Which is why we have to remake it right to make this make sense.
Yes.
This is our Wraith vengeance.
This is for him.
Yes, this is for him. This is our Wraith vengeance on this movie. We can do it better.
On the upside, nothing else happened. So, nobody else died or got injured.
I don't know, but some people went
insane. One is enough, really. Well, I don't know if I can blame that. I mean, for Sheen, I think it's just genetics, but
I don't know. Estevez seems to be fine.
Well, but his dad went through some shit.
Yeah, but if Emilio's doing okay, can't be completely genetic.
Emilio.
Where are you, Emilio? We all loved Emilio. Young Guns.
I know, right?
Yeah, so much fun. Well, this movie is kind of fun. So we got the road pirates. We get the establishing race, and like, oh, you guys are badass. Mm-hmm. And Packard is really obsessive about the girlfriend that he doesn't have. She's kind of like the captive girlfriend in a way. She doesn't want to be around him, but
everybody else is afraid of him.
Everybody's afraid of him. He'll not let anybody else near her. Especially Billy Hankins?
Yeah.
Billy Hankins, who is the brother of the deceased Jamie Hankins, who basically got killed for macking on Carrie.
Yeah. And that was the guy she liked. So
yeah.
This is another trope I find interesting about movies is the evil guy who just feels perfectly content being with somebody who hates him. I've never really understood the concept. It's like, I want to be in a relationship, but with somebody who fucking despises me.
Yeah, I don't get it. And he's rarely ever nice to her. He's basically threatens her all the time, saying, well, if I can't have you, nobody will have you. If you leave me, you die.
He's an abusive maniac.
Yeah. Beyond abusive.
Yeah, he's
super abusive. Is that more? I think abusive. Yeah, abusive kind of says it. I don't know if we have to add an adjective.
Whoa.
He's a murderous psycho.
Super abusive.
Super abusive. Okay. Not just garden variety abusive.
No. Yeah, he's not vanilla abusive.
He's not just rude to her in front of her friends.
Oh, nice.
He's not like.
I love how we're establishing
at the
levels
same
of
time.
abuse.
It's really just him threatening her a lot. It's not like he's manhandling her and slapping her around. At one point, she even says, "Like, we've never had sex. We're never going to have sex."
I know.
They're not even together.
No. No. Well, I
So
don't know.
at least he's not a rapey bad guy.
Yeah, that's his one upside.
That's
That's what I always say in abuse scenarios. At least no one's getting raped.
Sure, they've lost a few teeth on the use of their right arm, but god damn it.
I'm just picturing a scenario where she's like actually trying to sleep with him, but he will never take his pants off.
Yeah, I know, right?
She's like, come on. Like, wait.
Like, what's happening with
He's like, I don't like to do anything without my pants on.
Oh my god, I was just imagining, remember Job from Arrested Development?
Yeah.
Who can never be without those, like, jean shorts on? Maybe that's his problem. He's a never nude.
Almost everybody in this movie is in various states of undress, except for him.
I know.
It's almost like it's a Superman costume.
I'm concerned with how he showers.
In a vest.
No,
The shower's
jeans.
just way
He's
too
been
hot.
shirtless. It's just the pants.
He has his pants on. The shower's just way too hot. And he cries the whole time.
Shirtless right at his death scene.
Like, are you screaming again in that shower?
I can't get clean.
Okay, maybe we should talk about the weak movie that this is. There's not a lot because we were introduced to Jake.
Just say Jake.
Yeah, I don't know why they bother giving last names to people in this movie because nobody actually uses them.
But they do it in a lot of films.
Yeah.
Like, you'll notice a lot of films people have, or a lot of films people will actually have names, and you won't know until they get in credits, like a first name.
Well, yeah, we talked about Ghost Story
Yeah.
recently, so yeah. For example, go back and reference that episode. Jake shows up mysteriously in town, and he's the mysterious stranger. Oh, you're new in town. I don't know how many people told him that, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up and finds Carrie right away. She turns somebody else down for a ride and rolls up in his motorbike, and it's like a dirt bike, really.
It was a dirt bike,
It wasn't
for
even a
sure.
real bike.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize until they were all, like, sitting on that weird rock formation next to the water. Mm-hmm. Like, none of this looks comfortable. And then it flashed over to the dirt bike. I was like, oh, it's just a dirt bike. Is that even street legal? Like, why is this?
Yeah, she turned
Well,
her...
he's not wearing a helmet either. It's the 80s.
She could have got a ride to school or wherever the hell they were going work, and turns it down. It's going to walk, and here comes a mysterious stranger on a dirt bike. Yeah, okay, I'll take the ride.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, I'm like, wow, you're lonely.
Well, yeah. Her only company is a nutcase.
Well, yeah. Who turns up right away, so doesn't get the ride. Oh, I can't go. That guy's here.
Yeah, he's my stalker. I don't want to see anybody getting killed.
Yeah.
Again.
And yeah, you figure...
Again.
He doesn't... I don't know, Packard... You figure there'd be some sort of threats or something from Packard to Jake. There really isn't. She gets off the bike and rolls off with her. She takes the... What was up with that guy? You know, she takes the brunt of his abuse, but at no point is he's watching the dude, but he never makes any real threats to him.
It's kind of more about her than it ever is the dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's more about what she's doing. Because he's always like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, you're mine.
You're
It's
mine,
yeah,
man.
she's always the one. She's the focus of all his stuff. Like, he doesn't really give a shit about anybody else.
He even says he's got like zero feelings for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, what was he said? You love someone so much, eventually you feel nothing at all. I'm like, dude, I think we're going to have to explain feelings to you.
Yeah, no, but he was somewhat confused as his sociopath kicked in somewhere along the way.
Packard, the mistakenly autistic villain.
Didn't do his feelings cards in the morning.
He's like, it's just little flashcards. Sad, happy, scared. I'm done. Don't you want to know the other ones? I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah.
That's all I need.
So it really doesn't take very much. Charlie Sheen's also the Wraith, of course, and he's always decked out in this motorbike-looking suit with some metal armatures and stuff
braces
around it, and of course the mysterious helmet with a little bit of
yes,
because Star Wars just came out, so we got to do that.
And also, they're always like, I like the shot from behind him, and he's like slightly cocked head, but you only see the silhouette of all of his stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no,
he's coming.
he's
Yeah,
coming.
backlight.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of smoke.
Always blue backlight.
Yeah.
Where's the smoke coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. The desert is burning? I'm not sure.
So he'll drive up in the Interceptor, lure the gang away with the car, and he'll be waiting for them to catch up. And unlike where they usually drag somebody out of a car and give them the whole gist, he's in racing position, waiting for them to race. So he never steps out of the car. They never engage him in any kind of conversation. They're just, all right, this is the way it is. You've got Rughead basically yelling the rules to him through the window.
Yeah, he responds by revving, vroom, vroom.
Yeah, one vroom for yes, two for no.
You lose the race, you lose your car. Vroom, vroom.
Vroom? Vroom. Vroom. Entire conversations with her engine revving
Speaking
noises.
of Star Wars, this is very Chewie.
I was gonna say, it sounded more Scooby-Doo to me.
Yes.
What's that, Scooby?
Just expect somebody talking to him, he revs, he's like going, no, I said over here. Yeah. Rev. Yeah, don't say that about my mom. Like, just interpretations.
You guys' movie's way better than the one I watch.
I love this movie. It's so terrible. It is all the best terrible parts of the 80s.
It truly is. It truly is. I think it needs to be watched in a group scenario.
I think so. But it's I don't know. It's got some of the great tropes, and like I think you can keep the part like just a vengeful ghost with a car. It's a simple concept. You just have to like dress it up a bit and make a bit more sense.
Yeah, none of that whole concept makes sense at all. But you know, you can get into some spectacular races. They're not that great, but you know, you get the street races. There's inevitably you get into a race, and there's something about it. You're always rooting for somebody, even if you're not all even that engaged. That you know, the Interceptor is great, but it looks so powerful, and in reality is so powerful. That when they're really neck and neck, it just feels like it's just fucking with you. And then it takes right off.
Yeah,
it's
he's toying
neck
with
and
them.
neck for a little while, toys with them, and then just takes off around a corner, just gone.
So they
blows
can't
them
even
away.
see him.
They can't even see him. And when they come around the corner, he's like sideways on the road, and there's nowhere to go but through him.
Right.
And everything blows up.
Yeah. Well, not everything.
Except the dude driving the competitor car, because even though he should be charred cinders, vaporized, but charred cinders and pieces of like charred bone, he should be barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't know if people smell good as barbecue, but should be.
I don't know.
Barbecue
Cannibals
season.
say it's like the long pig, so apparently it's like, you know, pork. I'd say a good pork chop.
It'd smell really good if there were barbecue sauce in the trunk of that car.
Yeah.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think I'd smell pretty good on a barbecue.
Yeah, I think me too. I've got enough of that gristle, enough fat to really make me nice and delicious.
I'm not advertising myself. Two potential cannibals out there. I got nothing for you.
If you have to eat, well, that's the
I
thing.
am unhealthy eating.
With movies,
I am
that's
junk food.
that's the thing. They think they want to eat. You know, you don't want to eat thin guy. You want to eat the fat guy.
Yes, cannibals out there, stay healthy.
I am a
You don't
free-range,
wanna eat
grain-fed lady.
Yeah. Once they had say what you like about cannibals, but they do eat organic and free range.
This has been an ad for the Green Inferno. Now on DVD.
Can you imagine some sort of vegan cannibal? Well, it tastes like human, but it's like faux human. It's like lentil human.
Ew.
Okay, we've gotten way late here. Sorry, my fault.
Okay, yeah, that's the first crash is where Sheriff Loomis shows up, being all Loomisy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's very Dirty Harry the whole time. He's just, it's weird because, you know, Randy Quaid talking like Dirty Harry. He just feels like he's in another movie entirely most of the time. And given a lot of how we love Randy Quaid in movies as comedies, it just comes off all the more ludicrous.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, this is another 80s thing where you have the sheriff who's like talks a big tough game and is talking to the punk kids like, I know what you're up to. And but can't prove anything.
There ain't no dancing in this town.
Yes, yeah, very footloose.
It was very footloose.
Yeah, so Loomis is questioning the rest of the gang, Packard and stuff, when it was Augie who was in the first race and crashes through the interceptor, which just reappears and drives off. And he crashes through and then goes over a cliff and everything. It's quite dramatic and wonderful. And
It explodes quite nicely.
But when they yank the body out, it's a full body, full torso. It's all pale. It's not burnt up. And it's just missing its eyes.
Yeah. And I have to say, with all the bodies, let's see, very well landscaped. There's no body hair on any of the bodies.
Well, at least the fire burnt something.
Yeah, no, they've still got hair on their heads. So, like, basically what happens is you die and you get impeccably manscaped.
I don't even know where to go with that.
I was just painting pictures in my mind is what I was doing. Yeah. My silence was agreeing.
I can see you just looking through your head. You're like, impeccably manscaped.
I know. I was thinking about him wearing, back to him wearing the pants and never mind. You know what? Just, you're welcome, everybody. I'm going to stop talking.
What's going on down there? Why always the pants?
Go on. I apologize.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, so this kind of happens throughout the movie after a while. Like, the Interceptors just starts picking guys off.
Yeah. Well, the sheriff himself says, he's like going, look, he's killing people with his car, but he seems to really only have it in for your gang. So.
Yeah.
So, and he's kind of okay with this.
Yep.
In fact, when everybody's dead, he just gives up the case. Well, it's over now.
He's killed the last one.
He's killed everybody he wanted to kill, so we're not going to hear from this guy again. It just drops the case, which will lead to another point that a problem I have with the ending of this movie, because this car has been implicated in many, many deaths.
Yes.
Who's the next one it goes after?
It's Augie, and then it's Minty, I think, is the guy. He's the jock character.
Right.
He's the next one down. He's like, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. I'm like, you just saw it. Yeah, it ended badly. Like, this is the other 80s trope, where the bad guys are like, oh, I'm going to be the guy who will get the better of this dude. It's going to be me. I've seen him do incredible things, but I'm somehow going to get past that.
And the Wraith does show up at the garage at one point and shoots it up.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't shoot anybody in particular. He just shoots it up. It's just to get them riled up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Skank got from underneath the car into the rafters, but it was really funny.
I think it's the fun part of, like, all the stuff he's been huffing. I think he's like just all the drugs make him
everything. At one point, he snorts WD-40.
Yeah, he was just drinking a thing of unlabeled chemical at one point. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Hydraulic fluid. Like, what if it's something that's in a liquid form, he will ingest it.
Yeah, totally. The beach scene.
Yeah, well, it's not really a beach, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like a little creek in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In a rock formation.
Yeah.
It seems to be the place where the kids go in town, and they kind of have like a beach setting there along the creek. There's a lot of people, tanning and whatnot.
Yeah, you're just on the rocks. I mean, I've been to like kind of similar-esque areas, like where you'd be just hanging. The rocks are hot, so you definitely want to be on a towel.
Yeah, actually, that was when Jake showed up. That's where she was on her way to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's sunning themselves, and there was a scene where Carrie and Jake were on the floating mattresses along the river, because Jake had fucked off to go, I don't know, bully somebody else.
No, Packard went to go see Skank and Gutter Boy and tell him to keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
How can you guys say those names seriously and then keep talking about the movie without laughing hysterically?
Because they were the best parts of the movie.
Because we're professionals, Brittany.
And then Packard and Jake went to...
Because we do this all the time and we're fucking professionals.
And then that ghost... Go on.
Okay, yeah. Now he tells them to keep an eye on him, so those two are just on the rock formations. But what I find funny about the scene, and I noticed it again today, is it's very, very shallow water. Like at one point she's stopped, but you can see her hand holding herself there with a rock that she's got her hand on. Like that water's maybe 6 inches deep. That's about it.
Their own weight is like they're dragging the mattresses along.
Basically, I think.
They actually have to pull themselves down.
It's a very tiny body of water.
Looks like a sewer drain.
Yeah. Well, it looks like creek water.
It was very clear. It was very clear.
I mean, like when we went to Willow Creek as a child, which now knowing I should be dead, but it's dirty water. Creek water is not your fine glacier fed stuff in movies.
No.
It's cool and cold and you'll survive. Just don't drink it. Don't drink any of it.
Okay, well, it's like I said, he's picking them off one by one. And as each one dies, there's this armature thing that he's got on his arms and legs, these
Braces.
metal braces. One will disappear every time one of these guys dies. Mm-hmm. They don't explain why in this movie, but let's theorize what they're for, what these disappearing armatures are for. Is this a metaphor of binding him to some sort of limbo turmoil thing? And
well, I don't know. Like I always thought it was a countdown. Like he only has the number on him that is to take out the entire gang. Mm-hmm. And B, I kind of figured is if he's going to take off with Carrie at the end, he has to become more real. So I kind of understood that like if all of these are gone, then he is real.
Yeah, these are maybe what are binding him to this mission. He has to release himself to become real again in the world.
I think so, yeah, because he needs to be a physical person eventually. Yeah. I think that was the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I thought that was...
Not that we know where any of this shit comes from in the first place.
No, I have an interesting theory when we get to the remake.
Space or what, but I mean, yeah.
When we get to the remake, I have thoughts.
Because at one point we'll see the Wraith as a person, and he'll be standing in the road, and then he'll turn into the car.
Yep.
So, the rules are really undefined in this whole movie.
It's true. Yeah, you need more definite rules with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, what Brittany was saying is, like, you were saying they will smash you over the head with stuff, but then there's other stuff they won't bother with.
Pretty vague. Well, I mean, they take a while to tell you what happened to this guy, that it's linked to this person's death, Jamie Hankins, as people kind of have quick flashbacks, and we'll see that scene get a little further and further. It's basically he's having sex with Carrie, gets caught, they beat the shit out of him, and then drive him over a cliff and blow him up. Mm-hmm. And which, comes into play several times.
Yes.
He likes to kill people on that cliff. And, so we'll see that kind of play out, that, okay, this guy is back for vengeance on these guys, who, for the most part, are just car thieves.
Yeah, well, they are car thieves, but they were murderers before.
Yes, murderers before.
And
with the exception of Rughead. He seemed to have some more knowledge than you'd think he had, but he's not present during all of that. So
yeah, he wasn't a participant in the murder, which explains why he survives.
Yeah, he's left alone, which is cool. I kind of like Rughead.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best parts of this.
Yeah,
movie.
He's just an innocent techie. Really, he's not in it for the violence or anything else. He just likes making new stuff.
Yeah, he's sort of, when you talk about kind of sociopathic, he has a little bit of a sociopathic aspect about it, where he doesn't care what happens to other people as long as he gets to build and test his shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's not...
Well, that second race, he has this kill switch if the guy runs, if the interceptor runs.
Yeah.
And Packard's keeps telling him, just install the fucking thing. And he opens up the engine, which is in the rear of the interceptor, and it's a really cool looking engine, and you can tell that
with lots of supernatural light around it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I even begin to fucking attach this?
Rughead hasn't got a clue what to do with this thing. So just attach it. I think he just puts it in there and never comes into play again. It just they put it in the interceptor. He closes it back up. We never speak of this thing again.
Nope.
And probably because he didn't hook it up to anything. He just kind of sat it in there. And, well, if it looks like I'm doing it, then Packard won't kill me.
Yeah. Well, this is, I think, kind of the reason it doesn't come up again is this is the last time this is like an arranged race.
Yeah.
That is the last arranged race. Because we know Skank and Gutter Boy don't even race.
Yeah.
They just get killed outright.
Because I would have liked to have seen, even though there was no real need for a scene like this, is Packard or one of his gang race somebody and lose. Do they have to give up their car to the guy that they wanted the car from the first place?
Oh, no, I don't think they would.
Oh, no.
I don't think they would.
They just kill him.
Yeah, that's what I think, yeah.
Yeah. But we just never see that ever come up.
Or they do that intimidation things like, no, you cheated, you lost, so we take your car anyway.
Yeah.
That type of bullshit.
Yeah.
He flicks his switchblade again.
But I would have liked to
I
have
know.
seen
I would have
that.
liked to have seen somebody with just a bigger knife.
Because Packard admits that
Pull
opening
that
scene
annoying.
with that opening scene with George, he admits that, you know, he almost lost that race, so he's waiting for this new technology from Rughead to be built to give him that bigger edge.
Mm-hmm. Which is a very Fast and Furious angle where they're talking about like just new stuff for their cars.
Yeah, which I think is has a lot of potential, but at the same time, we've kind of seen that in the Fast and Furious movies. Although Fast and Furious has kind of abandoned that aspect of their movies, so I guess somebody else can lay claim to the street race.
Yeah, so I think all they're missing, because they keep going bigger and better in the Fast and the Furious, really adding a ghost is the only other thing they can do.
I suppose. We could just make this Fast and the Furious 8.
Yeah, like
the Wraith.
A nuclear weapon in one basically is like, how much bigger can we get?
Paul Walker comes back as Charlie Sheen.
Yes! I think you just fixed the problem, Brittany, just by joking about it.
Too soon.
Is it? Is it ever?
Well, to be fair, it doesn't have to look exactly like him, as we've established in the Wraith.
And Fast and Furious 7.
Yes. Oh, we're evil people.
Oh, dear God.
No. I feel
we miss
sad
you, Paul
now.
Walker.
Yeah. He was a good guy. That's sad.
I did like it when the Wraith rear-ended Packard's car into the graveyard.
Yeah, I like that bit.
That was a neat bit. There was, of course, inevitably you got to have the cartoon gravestone with the name Packard on it.
Packard Walsh, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And that's when he decides to get out of the
Frowny
graveyard.
face.
Yeah, frowny face.
Frowny.
Boo.
He's like, well, I gotta start taking this guy seriously. He's already killed a couple of your guys, dude.
I know.
Now you're taking it seriously?
Like, there's no funeral scenes the whole time.
No.
Like, no one's, like, acknowledging death in this movie.
Oh, no.
They're just like,
No.
oh, there's a couple guys have died. We'll just move on like every other human
And Carrie
would do.
seemed to be the saddest for some of those deaths, and these are people she hates.
I know, right? I think I can get, they were trying to make it like she's actually the most sympathetic character. Like, I think she thinks they're just dumb idiots.
Yeah.
Right.
She doesn't really hate them. She feels sorry for them. She hates Packard, but she just feels sad for the other guys.
I got the feeling every teenage girl in this movie worked for that diner.
I
the roller
love the
skate
diner.
Yeah, it's such a old throwback, and I guess that would exist in small towns with the drive-in diner. It's more of a 50s thing, but
Yeah. Big K's, roller skates, trays that go in your window.
yeah,
Love it.
And we used to. I remember one or two here in Calgary. I remember an old A&W that still had the drive-in,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the other one? CB's Burgers up on North Mount.
Oh,
Drive.
nice.
Yeah. It's still the same building. They don't do door to car service anymore, but that's what it was.
I know. I miss that.
It's a weird
Yeah.
thing, I feel like, that the hipsters haven't brought that back yet.
I'm surprised. Yeah, you're right. That should be something I would. Yeah, in roller skates as well. Like it seems like
Hipsters, you
something
keep
would do.
letting us down.
You're bringing back the wrong things.
You're driving up the property values in areas where people need to live.
I know.
And there's still no roller skate places.
I know.
Yeah,
it.
seriously.
How dare you? How dare you, bearded assholes?
That's
Take
right.
your fro-yo and get the hell out of here.
I like the shit unironically.
Okay. So yeah, more death, more destruction, blah blah blah. And I don't know, it's just more of a lather, rinse, repeat routine in this movie. So I don't know if I want to get into every character's death, but
Yeah, no. I do like the explosion at their little chop shop.
that was good. I mean, we have a couple of actually Skank and Gutter Boy get quite a bit of screen time. I feel like they're playing a little bit of Wile E. Coyote with always after either Jake or the car and never quite getting there.
Yeah.
And they never get killed until right near the end of the film, where they're left alone in the garage after Rughead leaves and the Interceptor just drives right into them.
Yeah.
right into the garage and blows the whole garage up.
But strangely enough, they're the ones whose bodies aren't there. That was the one bit that kind of threw me.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the body death.
Again, they don't really explain why these guys, their bodies aren't burning up, or why it's just the eyes that are missing.
But do we need it explained? Because you're one of those people who doesn't like everything explained.
I don't,
which
but
I find weird that you want this explained.
With supernatural stuff, I don't like it when there aren't rules. Because supernatural stuff is such a cheat if you don't give it rules.
See, but
it's too easy to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, which is why I kind of wanted Skank and Gutter Boy to beat those eyes burned out thing. I don't need an explanation.
Yeah.
I just wanted those two to have their bodies.
Yeah. I think you need consistency with it. Granted, I don't think there was enough time for the investigation to drag out their bodies, or maybe in the budget, I don't know. We've already established it a couple of times in the film, so you just assume that, that's what happened to them as well, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, Rughead at some point is saying, like, they were in here, and they're not here.
That's true.
So that's the only part. Like, I'm with you. Like, I feel that should be part of the rule. They should be those bodies.
Now, like, maybe a throwaway line, because, I mean, I do get what they're doing, like eyes being the windows to the soul. He's taking their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Become more powerful, to become human again, to become real. I assume. These are my rules now. So
yeah, exactly. Why not? We're remaking it. Let's make those rules.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's what that was intended for.
Yeah,
that's something that makes sense in my brain anyway. So
yeah, and I think Skank and Gutter Boy had to survive that long because they are the comic relief.
Yeah.
So you can't kill off your comic relief too soon in the movie.
Yeah. In fact, I would have liked a scene where he lifts the mask or the visor on his helmet, and maybe that's how the souls get sucked into him.
It's very Mortal Kombat. Give me your soul.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Or Highlander.
I don't know. Something like that to give it a little bit more and go, okay, there's a reason for why this is the way it is.
Yeah. Or maybe just have
and it's a hell of a preservative.
Yes.
If only you could do that to my vegetables in my fridge.
I know, right? Yeah, my crisper's too moist. I don't know what's happening.
That could mean anything.
It is. I don't know what's happening with my
crisper's also a little moist.
Yeah, and so my vegetables are going off. Fridge problems with Trish and Brittany.
I was going to make a moist joke.
That's what I thought I was doing.
I'm not afraid of that word.
You're just flashbacking to Packard, right?
Yeah.
Wondering what's under those jeans.
It's a mystery. I don't know what's happening.
It's an innie, not an outie.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why Packard's never had sex with Carrie.
That's why.
All right.
Well, let's just skip to the final race with Packard.
Yeah.
Which really doesn't feel like any of the other races. It doesn't feel overly climactic, but
I don't know. It's different. Like they have more. This one's more of a straight line race.
Yeah.
Other ones were curvy.
I mean, granted, Packard's already leaving town. They kind of won, but at this point, there's too much death around Packard, and they're looking for him now. And
yeah, and this is when he decides he's going to grab Carrie and be like, "Okay, we're leaving town."
Yeah.
That's when he finally acknowledges this is probably a bad thing.
Yeah,
for him.
he's like, I think I'm going to die. All my guys are gone now, and cops don't like me that much.
Without my goons, I am nothing.
Yeah. Well, and let's face it, the cops are basically the only thing they have to track this driver is through Packard, and they know he's the last guy, so they got to stake him out.
Yeah,
it's their last chance to get him. Once they already know when Packard's gone, that's it. There's nothing left.
Yeah, which is why they have their eye on him, and the cops actually join in this kind of sort of drag race at this point.
Yeah.
Losing a couple of their cars.
Don't we see the Interceptor actually drive through them at one point? Like just goes
no.
through?
This was. It's not.
Maybe
Packard's.
I just wanted that.
It was one
or not
before.
Packard. I mean Jake. Sorry.
It was the previous one where he crashes through those police cars. That's
right.
The previous race.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to catch him, and then they chase him, and then he disappears into nothingness. The sheriff sees this happen.
Yeah.
So I also think that's kind of why the sheriff isn't tracking him, because he's like, well, I just saw the car disappear.
It's not like I can hold on to it anyway.
Yeah, Packard's gone. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to see this guy again.
Yeah. I just got to wait for him to kill everybody, and case closed.
Exactly.
Which he really does immediately when Packard's dead. Like, shouldn't we pay an APB on this guy? We're not going to find him again. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
Which leads me as my argument to your point that you're going to bring up.
Okay, well, Packard's dead.
Yep, but this is the first time we see him without pants.
Yes, because what burns in fire? Not people, apparently.
Well, maybe his pants were his source of power, and that's why he died.
It was what kept all of his men in line. Don't make me take off the pants.
It's like his Iron Man suit.
Yes.
So Packard's dead. Jake's kind of... we've seen all the armatures disappear. Only once do we actually see the armature on his suit disappear, despite the fact that it's back in the next scene.
Yeah.
Continuity, where the fuck were you on that? You had one job.
I know.
One. Anyway.
It was a quick shoot. They were not there that day.
Yeah. After that, they just have them laying on the ground as part of the destruction, and they disappear as the car reforms and moves on. Mm-hmm. Now... Jake shows up in the car, not wearing the suit. He just pulls up in the car.
No, he's wearing the suit. He gets out.
Oh, he pulls the helmet
and then he comes out, and then the suit sort of disappears.
Oh,
and
he
a bunch
turns
of
into
flashes, and then he turns into Jake.
Yeah, he turns into Jake. And Carrie's there. And, that was
she somehow had shoes on her when Packard takes her away. She should have been in stocking feet. Because all she had on was roller skates at the time.
That's true. That's true.
Because, Packard ditches her out of the car when the Wraith shows up to race him that final time.
Cosmic shoes.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe she has those, the magic light comes around and those boots just appear on her feet. Yeah. And then she's fine.
Well, we don't know why anything else happens in this movie, so shoes, sure.
To be fair, when you're talking about a movie that doesn't have a high-end budget, some stuff just happens.
Just happens.
We're talking about our dream remake. We can fix all these continuity errors.
And this is where Jake basically tells her that, and they've already had sex as Jake and Carrie.
Yeah.
So, and then he reveals, no, I'm actually Jamie. I just couldn't come back the way I was.
Yeah.
And then they agree to, go off together. But he had one more thing to do. So he goes to visit Billy, and poor Billy gets brutalized a lot in this movie, actually, by the gang and basically trying to stand up to Packard.
And he's the only one in town doing that.
He is the only one doing it, but he's got the most reason after all. He knows these guys killed his brother. He just can't prove it.
Right. Yep.
So this is where I have the biggest problem with this movie. So Jake goes to visit his brother, leaves him the car, leaves him the Interceptor, and then drives off on his dirt bike, and he's yelling, Jake, Jake, and then makes the realization it's Jamie, and then says Jamie. Now, what kind of asshole leaves a car that's implicated in 5 or 6 murders to his brother? Does he not like his brother? Does he want his brother to spend the rest of his life in jail?
Hey, you don't leave a regular car that does nothing. What you do is leave a car that can fucking disappear and has amazing shit and can come back together from an explosion. This isn't a regular car. It doesn't fucking matter. You're saying this thing has been implicated? They kind of know what they're looking for. It has no license plate. What the fuck? He can just get in that car and go fuck off somewhere. It's easy. This makes perfect goddamn sense.
As long as he reads the instruction manual first.
Exactly.
It's painted,
which they do say is in the glove compartment.
Exactly. He's in no danger with this car. He's in
also
zero
painted
danger.
Flat black, so probably easy to, throw a coat of paint on there.
Yeah. And where was Jake storing the car?
It's a one-of-a-kind car. I don't care what color it is. There is no other one out there.
Yeah, but you've also got a one-of-a-kind car that can disappear if you just choose to disappear.
Does it? Does it have any powers? Was that all Jake, or was that the car?
This is the
They
Pentacle.
don't tell you
He
that.
says it does very special things.
You guys. He has magic braces that disappear off his arms.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
When he kills people,
I would figure the weird supernatural
souls from their eyes, and the car is the big.
after he's fulfilled his mission.
I don't know. Maybe the Wraith car is something where you get taken on by it. It's sort of that whole Ghost Rider sort of deal where you become part of the car.
And that's just it. Maybe the sequels to this movie were two shitty Ghost. They were all Nicolas Cage movies. It was Ghost Rider 1 and 2 and Drive Angry. So Nicolas Cage knows the score on this.
Exactly. So maybe that's it. But he's going to be fine. I don't see your problem.
I need to rework my... we need to pause the podcast so I can rework my remake, because I got to figure out how to get Nicolas Cage in here.
Oh, that's perfectly easy.
So let's do that. Let's get into our remake of this film, because personally I think there needs to be a lot of reworking.
I don't know.
So do you want to start with plot, or do you guys want to get into some actors?
We can do plot.
Okay.
I feel we have a lot to say about plot.
Yeah, having one, sure. Yeah. I don't think
it's a simple idea.
For a movie now, it's too simple. Like, this is, if you watch this now, it's a throwaway TV movie made by the guys who made Sharknado, and even they come up with better scripts than this. So
I don't know. I've seen some pretty bad big budget movies that come out with less plot. I'm sorry.
Well, okay.
Avengers Assemble. Fuck that movie.
Transformers, any of them. Pick one.
Exactly. No, like, I don't know. I like the idea. I want to keep a supernatural being coming to get vengeance with his car. I love that idea.
Sure, I like
great
that
idea.
grindhousey kind of idea. I'm fine with that. The Back from the Dead revenge flick. I'm still a little puzzled because this movie shops it itself around as a supernatural sci-fi, and I feel like it needs to pick one.
Yeah, I would go more supernatural, less sci-fi. Like they like, I could see how you got confused when thinking this was an alien movie, because I remember telling you about it one time. You were like, "Isn't that an alien?" I'm like, "No, it's like a ghost."
I thought the same thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Trish. I think that I liked the idea. I mean, it was the hokiness around it that I didn't care for, and the terrible acting and stuff like that. But the actual plot, I mean, it's a fun idea that you can build a lot around. So that I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I feel like we need to take this more, now that it's percolating in my brain a little bit. I've had a bunch of different takes on this, from like taking it to more of a Mad Max feel, to Fast and Furious vibe, to now the one I'm kind of leaning towards more is a horror movie vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is a Back from the Dead revenge flick, and a lot of the times when we watch horror movies, we like the villain more than we like the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And here's somebody who's going after teenage. It's got all those tropes of going after the teenagers, but we're actually on his side, because these are bad people.
Yes.
So I'd maybe go on to more of a horror movie vibe with it, to embrace the supernatural aspects of it, make that car a little meaner looking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
More into. Did you ever see I think it was 1970s, 77 maybe, it was called The Car?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
Quite good. I mean, it's very, I guess everything's kind of built from Christine when you do these revenge car movies or whatever. And it was basically just this demon car, but it had this old 40s look, but the window was blacked out and a lot smaller than it would normally be, to kind of give it that more ominous look.
Okay.
And, you know, I think you do want to build something specific and unique to the movie, because the car is the character.
Right.
Right? So I think I'd want something like that had visually stand out, because the one thing about the Interceptor, it looks part of its time.
Yeah, it's very 80s.
I would maybe make it look older, like it's been around a long time, like this is an older car, and have that 40s look, which I think is the best looking cars, is that 40s kind of look with the big rims, and
like maybe keep the
but
Wraith,
keep it original, not something developed by any particular car, like, because everything felt like it was a Dodge car ad in this movie.
like keep the Wraith a Wraith, like it's a being that's been around a long time and it's coming back. It has a spirit of vengeance about it. It's just gotten revenge. You kind of have to invoke it and it'll come.
Maybe it would be tied to a wrongful death, and it's as much as that is Ghost Rider, maybe that it's not that person per se that died, but it's taking on the trauma of that person.
Yeah, the Wraith is the only thing. Like, it's still like having a person, not just the car, like having a person that drives the car, like a Wraith that drives the car.
Yeah. I'd almost make it the two separate entities that are tied to each other. So the Wraith leaves the person that had died. Maybe it's a bit Crow in that aspect, where the wrongful death guy has the Wraith at his disposal while he's taken vengeance. And it is his second chance to come back.
And then I would get rid of the whole thing where he comes back at the end. Like, he's just sort of, he'll come back to say goodbye and then leave.
Yeah. I think dead is dead.
Yeah, he's free from the car after that, but he's like, I've done my job.
And then the Wraith is looking for that next tragedy to right.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I like that way better, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more satisfaction at the end, because then you're like, what, why?
Well, sequel bait.
What's going on?
Sequel bait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is sequel-y, but I mean, I still think it's a richer experience to think that this thing is unstoppable for like a long time, and it's been doing this a while.
Now, instead of the apertures, because now we've made these guys kind of linked but separate beings, because the Wraith will move on, and then the person goes back to wherever
their afterlife.
But I did like the apertures disappearing as a metaphor, and I'm not sure if we'll tie that to the Wraith, or maybe have the scars on the person disappearing.
Yeah, I think it should be tied to the person and person specific.
I think it should be person specific.
And to the crime itself. Like, I think those apertures don't say anything. But, like, if somebody like had a necklace that they had on and that's a thing that disappears, or like a patch. I don't know.
I would actually just think scars.
Scars?
Yeah, I thought scars, yeah. Because, instead of the big whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he got beat pretty bad when he died.
And that actually has another aspect to it when you think about it. Like, I don't know, do you want it? Nah.
Well, they make a point of showing the scars of Charlie Sheen's death in the movie on his back during the beach scene, and it doesn't really come to play again. But that's I would have done that.
But also, like, if the person, like, people can notice, or like, you don't, like, it might be something on their face, all of a sudden it's gone, and you look different. Like, it might be, I don't know, somebody putting it together when they can see this happening.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that might work a little bit better, actually. And given car culture now and street racing, you can certainly beef up those scenes.
Yes.
And
that was the one thing, the setting of this movie, I think, is the one thing I had the most problem with it. Like, it's desolate. Those races are kind of desolate. They're not...
I would maybe move this into a bigger city.
Yeah. I don't even think it has to be a bigger city. It just has to have a better... a better venue for racing.
Well, I mean, if these guys are street racing and taking vehicles, being street pirates and stuff, and then moving these vehicles elsewhere for I mean, we just don't get to the motivations enough for these street pirates. We need to... I want to get into the business side of things. If they are the heavyweights of this town...
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it would be some... I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Packard, some wealthy guy doing it for kicks.
Yeah. Maybe a small town would work. I almost want to make Loomis the main bad guy, and then Packard is heavy that he facilitates everything. Loomis runs this town. Maybe that's why there's so many damn cops. He's giving all of his friends jobs. He's runs this town corruptly.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's not really a Roadhouse scenario, but... like kind of a lone man standing type of deal.
Yeah, which is a bit of a trope for these small town kind of guy makes right and overtakes the evil of the guy in the town. Although at the same time, I always wanted to see what the town looked like after the evil guy's been overthrown. The entire economy collapse.
Just a power vacuum.
The power vacuum. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like maybe we can move Loomis into there, because it doesn't feel like he really does anything other than shout a bunch of lines that make no sense really in the context of the film.
See, but I kind of thought, I like the idea of Packard Walsh being like some rich kid, but his dad owns the town, and Loomis is a sheriff and he's trying to get him, but with the inherent corruption, like his dad always buys his little boy out of trouble. He can't get a toehold on it, which would kind of explain his idea where he's not that interested in busting this car.
Or maybe his dad is one of the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Well, actually, yeah, maybe.
Like, because you can still keep Loomis decent, but just trying to fight against a bunch of crap.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of like that. I mean, I feel like you need because Packard just feels like an asshole teenager.
He does.
And I feel like there needs to be somebody behind him.
He could be suffering from affluenza. A little douche tard who has no concept of right and wrong. Which I think would suit the character.
Yeah. But yeah, that could be a good angle with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel there should be, if you feel the town is completely corrupt and there's no hope, I don't know. I kind of like the idea there's a little bit of hope still left in the town.
Yeah, so maybe Loomis being the guy who's maybe a little more on the Wraith side, a reason for him not to try too damn hard because it's cleaning up the
what
mess
he's
been trying to do. Yeah. Oh, look. And maybe even have a standoff with them. It's like, oh, there's the car. Yeah, I'm just going to let you go. Actually, have a moment. I mean, there's no chance he's ever going to get the Wraith, but have that moment where he's face to face with it and looks like he has an opportunity and chooses not to take it.
Yeah. Or else at the very end where like the Wraith is leaving town and he's like, he's got him stopped. And he's like, well, I guess this is over now.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't do anything unless you're done. And the Wraith is like, no, I'm done. He's like, okay.
Well, all right then.
All right then.
You were right.
Yeah, I think that would be funny. It would leave it on a lighter note, wouldn't it? All right then, you keep going. I don't want to see you again.
I don't know. I mean, it'd maybe be a standoff with the person. After,
for sure.
After he leaves, not the Wraith entity per se, because the Wraith entity will have moved on in its whatever ghostly fashion it does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that also solves the worst problem of the movie is like, don't leave the car with somebody.
It's true. It also fixes that problem, but it also fixes the problem I had with how Jake can just take off with her. I'm like, she's not dead.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. I didn't like that at the end. That was the thing.
Yeah, where's he taking her?
Where are they going? And why doesn't her family care? Like, aren't these kids in high school?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no one's family cares that they're just, like, leaving town all the time.
Yeah.
I had to be home at midnight for the hotel to pay. Like, you just pick up and leave town with a ghost and no one says boo about it.
Yeah. Well, I think...
No pun intended.
No one says boo. Yeah. I love that. But I put it to the whole thing as if you talk about the corruption of the town and, like, who Packard is. Like, maybe that might be the parents don't care simply because he's powerful and he's rich. Mm-hmm. Her parents are a little bit, they don't really give a shit about their little girl as long as they get some sweet, sweet money.
I don't know. There's no scenario where your parents wouldn't care if you were 16 and you live in this small town. Or that somebody would be like...
No, there is the scenario where you have shitty parents.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, each one of these kids has the same shitty parents.
No, I think she specifically has the shitty parents.
Oh, okay.
Well, I felt like Carrie was kind of on her own in this movie anyway. She had a job. We don't really see her family life at all.
We could use the lazy trope of the alcoholic mother and absent father.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these kids, we assume we never really see them at schools or anything. I assume they're all
They might be like 18, 20s, 19, 20.
Yeah. Early 20s.
She's working all the time, so yeah, maybe it's a full-time job. Maybe they're just not in college. This is just, right after high school.
This is
a small town thing.
Yeah. Next
Straw
thing
dogs.
you do.
Yeah, there you go. Nobody fucking gets to leave.
Yeah.
We're all stuck here.
I don't know. I mean, as much as I don't want to lose Big K's,
keep Big K's.
There's something quaint about it, but it does feel antiquated
I will fight tooth and nail to keep Big K's in this movie. I think it is wonderful. You can make it a retro diner.
It does feel like it's the focal point for the youth of this town. So.
Yeah. Like, I feel it would be...
Yeah, they had to have a setting. They had to put to put people somewhere.
Well, between that and their Beach River thing, those were the two hangouts for the kids.
Yeah.
Or the 20-somethings.
Although they had no window stuff, this just reminded me of the old Fox and Claire's home. Or like Bill's in Nanton. Like, there's these little places that we get burgers that you'll go to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the basic structure kind of works if you start fleshing it out and little changes in motivation and how things work. And now we have rules for the supernatural being a little less sci-fi, more supernatural, and taking on some Crow aspects. And I do like that you do the horror movie kills. So and have that, we can actually see the eyes melt out of their sockets. Like, he's keeping their bodies protected so he can come and claim their souls.
Nice.
Right.
So we can have scenes of him walking through the carnage and picking up the body
Nice. And just feeding on it.
Yeah. Although it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they have to all be everything but the eyes is protected. I'm like, just go in and take what pieces are left.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
He does the sweep over the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it was just creepier to think that it was a fireball and the body stays intact. Like, the weirdness of it was to make it supernatural.
Well, I kept thinking they were going to turn into zombies or something. Turn into another movie.
They're just dead. It's a
that
warning.
would be a cool climax with your main bad guy is have him controlling all the ones he killed before.
No. I have it. As the Wraith car is leaving town, you'll see all those guys stuck in the car because they're getting taken somewhere, like their souls are.
Oh, like the ferryman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Maybe that's what he is.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That's cool. Now this movie's got a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I could root for this guy.
I know, right?
I could sell comics for that.
I know.
No, wait, I do. It's called Ghost Rider.
Cool.
Except Ghost Rider.
But he can carry more people than Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Like when you have a full car, you just squeeze him in, extra guy in the trunk.
But I do like this, and you could go heavy in the R side of things or more PG-ish as a superhero kind of movie. But I'd go dark. I'd go a little more horror, especially with things like Deadpool doing well. R-rated movies are making a comeback now. So I'd maybe go R with this thing, and yeah, it could be a lot of fun.
Beef up the pants sex scenes. You could make it a little more crashy and, horrorish.
A little more leather with the pants. And
Yeah.
He's got leather pants he never takes off.
Or just beef up the fight scenes and everything like that.
Turns out his mom keeps him in chastity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some sort of weird mental thing about sex. I don't know. He can't take his pants off because it's a thin.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Well, we see Packard. He's so possessive of Carrie, but at the same time, it's okay for him to sleep with other women.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah.
That's your bad guy double standard.
That's your typical...
That's how you know
typical abuser.
Yeah, typical abuser. You're mine, but I do whatever the fuck I want.
He was killing people and stealing people's cars, but I was really mad about that.
I love how that's your line.
You're a cheat. You're a fuck.
I don't care you pull a switchblade out and hit her. But damn it, you're cheating on her, and that's wrong.
I think we got a better structure here now. So let's get into some casting on this, I think. Who wants to go first? Brittany?
Sure, yeah. I thought you could put anybody in Charlie Sheen's place.
Yes.
Like it could be Charlie Sheen, it could be Emilio for fun, it could be Tom Cruise, it could be
the kid next door. He's in this movie so little that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could have been Kevin Bacon. Like it just doesn't. It needed to be that guy with a good haircut standing on the road. Like I thought Charlie Sheen did a great job of this. I mean, he's always fun to see in a hokey movie because you're like, oh, this is exactly what this is. So for that, I enjoyed that. I didn't mind the casting. There wasn't a ton of people I would have swapped out. The acting was so poor though
Well, considering the caliber of actors in this movie.
Right.
But this is some of the, these are early career roles.
Granted, I get the feeling it was a lot of
short shoot.
One take shoot. Yeah, 27 days, 27-day shoot, modest budget of $2.7 million. I don't know, I couldn't find a worldwide gross for this thing, but it made $3.5 million domestically. Certainly not a hit, but,
made money at least.
Yeah, I think the soundtrack maybe made more money.
You had your advertising stuff. Yeah, I mean, the 80s soundtrack is actually pretty good.
It's a killer soundtrack.
Got some Ozzy on it. And, there's
Motley Crue.
There's some classic stuff on there.
Yes.
It's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, you could have put... it was a great soundtrack. That's, like I said, I mean, that was the first notable thing. Even the credits rolling, you knew right away what this was.
Well, you know what? And I got the feeling it was a music company that maybe financed this thing because the music got credits before the crew did.
Oh, yeah.
That's rare. I've never seen that in a movie before. And the music company logo was right at the beginning of the credits.
Yep.
So...
Soundtrack by...
So I think a lot of that was funded by the music company.
Oh, definitely. Which makes sense.
Yeah. It does have honestly, I thought we'd break into music videos, but it was so early into music videos at the time they didn't know how to make those yet.
That is sort of heartbreaking, though, to think that
They've been around, but
to think that the music company was like, "Hey, these are the songs. Now write a script around this."
you know, what makes me wonder, if maybe that was the case.
I don't know. They've done a lot of things with stuff. It's like, here's a person, write a script around them. Like they've done worse stuff.
Oh well, yeah, we've seen that many times.
Think of some of the bad movies.
They've had actors before scripts, and that almost defines action movies in the 90s.
But there's also some movies too. Like there's one specifically. It's called The Wedding Date, where I can tell 100% that this guy's like, there's like 4 lines I've always wanted to put into a script, and I'll just make a script around it, just so one of these characters can say my stupid fucking lines.
I like that movie.
Okay, I'm sorry. The line is like, I think I'd miss you even if I never met you. That is definitely what he thought would be a great line for a movie. What was the other one? Like, I want to fight with you for the rest of my life. Again, putting that in a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but there was another one that drove me nuts. But like, there's 4 of them specifically. I remember hearing and being like, I can tell this movie was just constructed to say that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Every woman has the love life she thinks she wants, she thinks she deserves, or every woman has the love life she wants, whether she admits to it or not. Definitely, somebody wanted to put that in a movie.
Yeah, the soundtrack for sure. It seems that way. It seems exactly like that.
Yeah. I didn't even actually think about the soundtrack in my remake, but I feel like the music was such a big part of this one. I feel like it should be there again. But
oh, for sure,
it's the best part.
It'd be more of a metal soundtrack these days.
Oh, really? See, I went with more like stuff like Chemical Brothers and Crystal Method for like the chase.
Oh, I could move into more of the industrial. That'd be all right. Yeah. At least, that would be good for the race sequences and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't have any specific cast in mind, director maybe?
No, because it was what it was, and I didn't like the tweaks to the plot were, I think, what was more.
Yeah, I think it definitely needed more of a rewrite for sure if you're going to remake this movie. Now, these guys are all long in the tooth now, so we do need to put some new bodies in these roles if we're making it for today's audience. So, Trish, what do you got?
I see. Okay, so I don't know. The Wraith, I didn't really kind of put anybody in it because I was also sticking with thought the Wraith was just like an entity. But I did put someone in just for like shits and giggles. Dylan O'Brien, I've only seen him in a few things. Like, I can kind of see his face. Like, he's not really well known. Yeah. But, like, he's been in a few movies.
Well, I mean, inevitably, you need that human cipher for the Wraith.
He's very Boy Next Door-ish.
So, the Jake, Jamie / character. So
I didn't want super handsome. Like, he's very next boy-ish.
Right.
Boy Next Door-ish. So that's kind of what I went. For Packard, I put Nicholas Hoult because I just want to see him do evil.
Well, that'd be interesting.
I would love to see that. I adore him. Carrie, there's a girl called Aubrey Peoples. She was just on Nashville. She's always very girl next door. I don't want to go super hot for any of these people. I want them to be like small town. Like, you're hot for this town.
Yeah,
that's like you've got all your teeth kind of hot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're a 10 here, but we put you anywhere else, you're like a 7.
Yeah, don't get cocky.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Well, that kind of worked for Sherilyn Fenn.
Billy Hankins, I had so much trouble. I couldn't cast him. I was trying terribly hard, but I came up with something I felt was just like a genius. Sheriff Loomis. I got Sheriff Loomis in just like regular deputy. And what I did was I just took the 2 guys that play Skank and Gutter Boy and put them in there.
Oh, that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, David Sherrill, who is Skank, is Sheriff Loomis, and deputy is Jamie, is like Bosie and Gutterby.
Okay, I'm ditching mine because I figured that would be a good place to put a cameo by Charlie Sheen, but...
Oh, see, I thought you would have put Nick Cassavetes in there.
Fuck that. Yeah, no, well, that would have worked too.
Because part of this reworking was I was thinking of the whole thing, like maybe making it sort of what we talked about, Evil Dead, or remake sequel. I always feel like it's Jamie's brother.
People need to, from the original, that's always fun about remakes, is have somebody from the original cast. And honestly, when you watch this movie, the standout characters would be those characters to me. So I totally agree with you.
And I kind of thought like it would be interesting to like kind of make it like, oh yeah, I used to be a Hellraiser in my youth, and then I cleaned up, and then I became sheriff.
As Brittany said, Charlie Sheen could have been anybody. True. And he's barely present in the movie. So, yeah, I would give it to those guys for sure.
Oh, for sure. I was like going, I just want to see them again because their chemistry was so good.
It was. It was.
They were more believable as a couple than Carrie and Jake. I just felt.
I agree.
And I didn't get to Gutter Boy. I was trying to do it, but like Skank, I was like Ethan Embry. I just want Ethan Embry in everything. Augie was Thomas Dekker, and Rughead was Haley Joel Osment.
I don't know what he looks like now, but that would be...
I think it would be brilliant.
Interesting. Okay, well, I did go through pretty much every teen movie I can think of that was made in the last 5 years, which is more of the teen action stuff that I was thinking, Divergent, and Hunger Games, and Maze Runner, and I don't know what else I stumbled across.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, yeah, he kind of looks right. Because I haven't seen most of these movies outside. I've seen Maze Runner, and I've seen most of the Hunger Games. So, but even that cast, I tried to stay away from that cast as much as I could. But I did try to keep them in their mid-20s, no really older than 30, to try to keep that tone.
Yeah, it should
from
be
this film, a
teenish
young,
or early 20s.
or at least somebody who could pull early 20s,
Yes.
pull off early 20s. Okay, so for my Jake / the Wraith, because we didn't actually come up with them as two separate entities until just now, so I was still thinking in that regards. I got Dylan O'Brien.
Nice.
And for Carrie, I thought let's go a little different with her. She's still pretty, but go with a little more multicultural cast. And I went with Zoe Kravitz, who I feel has a very similar look.
She came across my list.
I think she's got a very similar look.
Yeah.
To Sherilyn Fenn, so that would work.
That's so weird. I did rumble by her.
Yeah, I quite like her. So she was my Zoe Kravitz, and it's funny how Rughead came to me almost immediately. Dane
DeHaan?
Thank you. Dane DeHaan from...
he was the Goblin in Chronicle.
Chronicle, yeah, from Chronicle. And I thought he'd be good. He's kind of that short and that weird-looking face.
Nice.
And,
I don't think he's that short, though.
Oh, he's short next to the rest of that cast anyway.
Oh, true.
So he was the smallest of that cast. But I was just thinking, like, I bet you he could pull off interesting nebbish nerd mechanic. I mean, he wouldn't look like he does in this film, but...
He would put in a Willem Dafoe-esque quality.
Yeah, I think so. So I kind of liked him in that part. Packard, I had Jamie Bell.
Nice.
Skank was Josh Hellman. And Nicholas Hoult was Gutter Boy.
Holy crap. Okay, yeah, you were going from like a Mad Max Fury Road.
Those two, for sure. I'm like, why split them up? They worked then, they're going to work now.
True.
Because that's what they were in the movie. I was thinking, well, those two are straight out of a Mad Max movie. Let's keep it that way.
Nice.
So I just kept it that way.
I can't believe we both had Nicholas Hoult.
I know, right?
Different roles, but
different roles. We did that last time.
I
too.
know.
Or me and Sam did last time.
We weirdly do that a lot.
I had Charlie Sheen in the Sheriff Loomis role, but I defer to yours because that was a better choice for sure. And I wanted at least another female in the gang.
Yeah.
So for Augie, who's the first one to get killed, and I'm like, that would just make the Wraith less picky about it's still revenge. And I went with Amber Heard as Augie.
Do you think she might be older?
I think she still can pull off young, and we've seen her with multicolored hair and stuff. She would pull off punk really well, and honestly, it wouldn't matter. She's just the first one to die anyway.
True.
As long as you can pull off young.
I think if I were to cast that role, I can't remember her name. She's got curly hair. She was the chick from Grandma, and then she was in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For.
Oh, okay.
She's like a youngish actress. I think she'd be good for that.
Yeah,
of just a blonde bubble.
We'll let
dies.
our people do their do our references there. And for director, I have Chad Stahelski. He directed John Wick. He's one of my current favorite action directors.
Yeah, John Wick is awesome.
It is awesome. So I'm like, we haven't seen him do that kind of race kind of action movie, but it'd certainly be great for the ground fight scenes that would probably take place at some point. And I'd like to see what he could do with, the races and things like that. I think he would definitely have the right aesthetic.
True.
Yeah.
For a director, I put Edgar Wright.
Nice.
I wanted to see what he could do with the action sequences, as well as I think he could inject the humor, and as we were wanting to make it like a darker, more horror story thing, I think he could do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, given what we saw with The World's End.
Yes.
Like, he can embrace that kooky sci-fi, and I'd like to see what he could do with something a little darker in tone. For sure, because, I mean, there's always been those horrific aspects in the movies, but done in a comedic way. But they're usually really gory death scenes.
Messy.
They're always messy in his movies.
that would have brought awesomeness to the movie.
Yeah, so actually, I wouldn't mind to see what he could do with something that was a little more straight up horror, but still could embrace some humor, because there's a lot of kookiness in this movie that I think could be brought out and have that nice balance that maybe a Shaun of the Dead might have.
Yeah, like I think there's a campy aspect to the concept, and I feel that it should be embraced and not ignored.
Yeah,
because there's nothing worse than a horror movie that takes, like, a movie that has a campy aspect that takes itself too seriously. There's something you're like, oh, people, you just feel sad for them kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, you're not making the greatest bit of art here. Just have fun with it.
Don't be so precious with this idea.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like what we came up with might have been, if they'd done this the first time, it might have been more of a cult movie instead of, is that on his IMDb? I don't know. You know, it's something I forgot about. I'd seen it when I was a kid, but I forgot almost everything about this movie. Like,
I think amongst car enthusiasts, it's definitely
maybe, and we definitely have car enthusiasts listening to this show, so they all seem to be in Kentucky.
I know.
Shout out to Kentucky. Hey. So yeah, another car movie for you guys. What else would you like to kind of add to this? Bands you want to throw into the soundtrack?
I don't know. I told you my bands. I was going more techno.
Yeah.
Right.
I played some Hex RX on the Old Boy episode. That's the kind of shit that gets my blood boiling. So that would be really the angry, fast kind of music, and that's what I like. So
yeah. If it's gonna be up to date and stuff like that. If it's gonna be all their like fun scenes would have to be some pretty like indie bands where they're like hanging out by the water and stuff, like summer fun scenes, especially for this generation.
Well, this was an indie movie, and you know, I'd like to maybe keep it that way with the bands as well. So, although you could tell who funded the movie, because Dodge got some big screen time, and so did that one music label. So
for sure,
yeah. All right, well, I think we got something pretty good there, guys. Check out the remake of the Wraith, coming probably never.
Here's hoping. I don't know.
But if it is, it'll probably get buried next to Star Wars.
I don't know. The guys who are writing the Wraith 2, from what I was reading, I don't know how current this is, but like the guys who played Kangan's Gutter Boy,
20 years later,
we're writing something about that.
I would love to see what that script looked like. Anyway.
I know. If you're listening, we have ideas.
Yeah. Hey, Gutter Boy, Skank, call us. You can talk about it on our show.
David Sherrill or Jamie Bozian?
I think that would be brilliant. If nothing else, just to hear what their sequel would have been. So.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing.
Yeah. Anybody knows how to get in touch with them? Let us know. You can let us know at Invasion Remake on Twitter, invasionoftheremake@gmail.com, or Invasion of the Remake on Facebook. And of course, tell all your friends about us. Tell 5, 10, 20 friends. Tell the dog across the street. Tell everybody about the show. Help spread the word and help us grow. When you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Leave us a little review if you can. It gets more eyeballs on the podcast and helps raise us on the charts. So do us that solid. We don't have advertisers, and we don't make any money off of this. So at least just drop us a rating. It takes you a tenth of a second. It takes no time at all.
If you like us, give us a good rating. If you don't like us, nobody likes a tattletale.
That's right. And if you see us post on Facebook and Twitter, share it. Just share it with your friends out there. It takes, again, press of a button, and again, more people see the podcast. Help us get us out there. We have the top 500 to break on iTunes. I'm we're
realistic.
Yeah, we're realistic. One marquee at a time. Okay, like 500. Let's shoot for mediocrity. Okay.
We're gonna be the best mid-level movie podcast ever.
So help us out there, and that's it. I'm Jason.
I'm Trish.
And I was Brittany.
She was, but she's not anymore.
Yeah, she's now in the Wraith car, driving down the highway, getting her vengeance.
Next week, Sam will be back in his seat. He is his day job called for this week, so he couldn't be with us. But worry not, he will be back with us next week, and we will be back with another movie that has been remade, and we're talking over some interesting ones for you. So tune in every week.
Oh, and before we go, do you have anything to plug, Brittany?
No, if there's any listeners out in Toronto, I'll be out in Toronto for the month of May. I will be at the Ajax, Mississauga, Vaughan, and Niagara Falls Yucks Club. So, head me on Facebook, check me out, and we'll see you at the show.
Sweet.
All right, you got a Twitter?
Just at Brittany Lyseng.
Okay.
That's me.
Brittany Lyseng. All right. Make sure you check out her shows, and especially if you're in the Toronto area. Very funny, as you've known. That's why we got her back.
Exactly. She's awesome.
So check her out. All right. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.